Hey guys, Evan Kozlowski here, and I want to give you some great interview tips that are going to put you above your competition. To start, you want to make sure you do your research. This means you have to research what the company is and what they do. For example, everybody knows your big name brands like Nike, Adidas, always in sports, but if you were to show up to one of their interviews and say, "Oh, how has been your telecommunications projects been?" Obviously, it shows a lack of what you know and a lack of seriousness on the issue. Next, you're going to want to know yourself pretty much to a T. You're going to want to study your resume, which, by the way, needs to be perfect for you to land an interview. And on every single interview, you're going to be asked these questions of what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. My tips is you want to know by 5 strengths about yourself and just live by them. You're going to need to know those by heart. Also, you're going to need to know your weaknesses. Usually, you think of one weakness, and to show strength on an interview, you want to tell them what you have done to improve this. For example, if you could say, I have very poor time management in the past, you could say, I improved this by creating a schedule for myself so I can accomplish all my work. Next, it's all about first impressions on an interview, and sadly, there's no do-overs in this. So you are on stage the minute you get onto the block of the building that you're going to be interviewing. You want to be there 10 to 15 minutes early. You want to dress the part. For example, a nice suit, tie, make sure it's tied correctly. And when you first meet somebody for the first time, you give them a nice firm handshake, stare them right in the eyes, and say, "It is a pleasure to meet you." It shows very class and that you're excited about this interview. Another thing that you're going to want to do is just your presence and your persona throughout the entire process. So you're going to be very enthusiastic, show that it's the best day of your life. You're going to want to smile a lot and make sure you sell yourself to the interviewer. Make sure you go over the top with this. And I think that could be a way to really set yourself apart from your competitors. And when you're going into the interview, you want to be prepared with small talk. You want to talk to the woman or sir at the front desk with some small talk, wait to be seated. And one thing that's huge nowadays, you want to make sure you turn off your phone. This shows that you could be distracted, you don't really care too much, you really just want to be in person during the interview. So now when you're actually in the interview room and you're about to sit down, you want to sit up straight, you plant both feet on your floor, keep eye contact with your interviewer, and you don't want to keep like moving around in your chair a bunch. You want to, sit straight up, very firm. And a lot of times throughout interviews, it isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be made tough, and there's going to be a lot of tough questions. So questions they always will ask you is stuff like, tell me about yourself. You're going to want to prepare a 3 to 4 sentence response that you're super comfortable with and like that. And more questions would be, what is like your biggest failure or disappointment? And you could respond by giving a situation, and they want to see, what did you learn from it? How did you turn the negatives of this situation into the positives? They're going to ask you about previous jobs that you had. You do not want to speak negatively, and you want to say how your past experience applies for the job you're currently applying for. They're going to ask you more behavioral questions as well. They're going to be, tell me a situation where you had to do X, Y, Z. Give me an example of blah, blah, blah. So you're going to want to be very prepared for these questions. And once the interview's over, of course, you want to shake the person in the hand and have some questions for them to show that you're interested. Have 3 to 4 questions maybe prepared. Ask questions like, what is the culture like here? Do you have vacation days off? Stuff like that. And once you're done with the interview, you're going to want to send a thank you note. And that usually is between the next day or 2 days after, usually by email, just 3 to 4 sentences reinstating why you're so enthusiastic about this job. Thanks, guys. I hope these tips will help you in your next interview, and hopefully you land the job. Thanks for your time.